Hello, and welcome to Mind Mastery Mondays. I'm your host, Colleen Elaine, and I wanted to just remind you that last week in our 5 minute meditation, we created a mental image using our imagination. So we therefore created something out of nothing. We brought something into fruition into our minds. So this week, I want you to do something a little bit similar. But we're going to take how about a cruise ship, for instance? I want you to picture a large cruise ship and just picture that in your imagination during your 5 minute meditation this week. And I want you to think about not only what you see from your perspective, which is going to be above the water, but I want you to look at what is actually below the surface, because everything that is below the surface is not something that you would normally think about, but it's something that has been created nonetheless. So, a large cruise ship like that, I want you to kind of scale it back from what it is today to the all of the people that are on the cruise ship that are running the show, and all of the people that put the mechanics in order to be able to sail it, and people that produce all the food and the entertainment and all of that on board, and then scale it back even further to the people that constructed everything and brought in um, all the different textiles and materials that were needed to beautify the ship. And then now let's scale it back even further to the steel and whatnot coming from the mines where it had to be brought out and transformed into the shape that it needed for the ship. And so you're going to be looking below that surface and finding that what might have been insignificant to you before, everything that's below the water that you can't see, is really very significant and important to that whole vital cruise ship. And also, what might have been uninteresting to you becomes very interesting as you um, think more about what it took to actually make that vessel and for the amount of people and stuff that it can transfer. So just kind of think about that today in your meditation. And you don't have to use a cruise ship, but I'm just using that as an example because I want to remind you that the imagination is the matrix in which all things are created. And so someone had to actually have that thought of, wow, what would it be like to have a massive cruise ship that would transport thousands and thousands of people, and they would be entertained and eat great food and travel to exotic locations. So, you had to have somebody who had the thought. You had to have architects that would build it. You had to have people that would um, gather the raw materials to make it. And so, I mean, just on and on and on to bringing that to fruition. And that is exactly what we each do every single day with our thoughts. We start with a thought and then we bring something to fruition. So, just want to get you into that creative process of imagining, because that's how you're going to master your mind. You create your own reality, and I want you to create something beautiful. So take your 5 minute meditation this week and look at the inner workings of something from a large scale all the way down to the nuts and bolts of how it was created. So enjoy your 5 minute meditation and let me know how it goes. See you next week.